Today we're talking about Disney's Wish. Spoiler without context. Welcome to Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and that's right, friends. The Disney movie of the year, if not of the millennium, is here. That's kind of a bold statement, but also not really, because I'm sure we all know by now, and if you don't, I'm telling you, 2023 marks the centennial of Disney Animation Studios. 100 years since Walt Disney first got someone else to put pencil to paper and he started taking credit for their work. Watch my video about Works if you want a little bit of context. But no, don't get me wrong, despite the cynicism, I love Disney. I love Disney animation. These movies are just such a fabric of my being. So of course, I, like so many other Disney fans, am so excited by this new movie, Wish. And I was lucky enough to get a sneak preview, not because I'm special by any means, because I'm still not getting invited to those, although I would happily go Disney Studios Canada. But no, because just out of nowhere, Disney decided to do an advanced screening on Saturday, the 18th. At least it seemed random. I'm almost positive that they did that just as a way to celebrate Mickey Mouse's birthday, because November 18th, of course, is the widely accepted date for Mickey Mouse's birthday. And if you want more context on that, I have a video about when is Mickey Mouse's birthday. It's all about shameless self-promotion on this channel recently because I really need the views. But yeah, fun fact, there are actually 3 potential dates for Mickey's true birthday. The 18th, that's just one option. What were we saying? Oh yeah, Disney's Wish, starring Oscar winner Ariana DeBose and Oscar attendee Chris Pine. Let's get into it. Let's start with the blanket statement. Is this the best Disney movie? No. Is this the most Disney movie? Yes. It's got everything. Magic wishing star in this movie. Magic wand in this movie. Magic yielding royal villain in this movie. And you know all of those tropes that just feel so quintessentially Disney but have never been in a movie? Now they are. Fireworks, whew, in this movie. Stardust making like a half circle over top of a castle in this movie. Seriously, I don't think a movie has been this Disney since Enchanted. And it does feel like they're both kind of operating with the same objective. You know, tell an original story that feels familiar and also plays homage to all the classics that came before it. And that's tricky territory because as much as I love all things Disney, I don't want movies to rely solely on my nostalgia as an excuse to not put in the work to do a film that can stand on its own. Thankfully, I don't think Wish does that. I think Wish is this simple, beautiful story that's enhanced by Disney Easter eggs, but it can stand pretty decently on its own. That said, there were a few moments that felt like a little too self-aware, but I loved them. So it's tough to complain. I mean, I think I'm specifically thinking of a Mary Poppins reference that I personally found hilarious and kind of came out of nowhere, but I loved it. Now, with regard to the animation style for this film, I loved it. I've said it many times. I don't like when Disney tries to animate in the Pixar style, and like I have a hard time watching Frozen because it feels like I'm playing a PlayStation 1 game that I have no control over. But their eyes are just so big, it's creepy. Anyway, the Paperman style animation in this movie is gorgeous, especially on the big screen. And now I was initially disappointed that they weren't going back to traditional hand-drawn 2D animation for this film, because I mean it's the movie that's meant to commemorate 100 years of animation, but in some ways this actually feels better. I mean, what better way to commemorate the 100th anniversary of a studio that innovated how animated films can work than by innovating a brand new animation style. Seriously, the hybrid of 2D plus computer integration somehow. I don't know how they did it. I just know it looked stunning. I sincerely hope that this becomes the new normal for Disney animated movies going forward. My biggest complaint with the movie, if that's the right word for it, would truthfully have to be the music. I mean, I think the main song is gorgeous, and a part of me is wondering if it was actually written, at least in part, with the end game of having it be the new fireworks anthem in the Disney parks, because this is a song that was written for fireworks. So I look up at the stars to guide me, and throw caution to every warning sign. I'm sure there will be that bind me, but I can take them on one at a time. So I make this wish. I could have won the Oscar for West Side Story. Citation, Rachel Zegler. Not really. Cut that out, Matt. But yeah, that song. Written for fireworks. The rest of the songs weren't necessarily bad. They didn't do much for me. And I mean, I'm willing to take ownership of this. It could just be that I am entering my old Matt era where I just can't embrace something that feels new or unfamiliar. But just speaking as a child of the Disney Renaissance, I want my classic Disney animated movie songs to sound like classic Broadway musical theater songs. Just something about the anachronistic mix of very contemporary sounding music with this gorgeous visual aesthetic that looked very medieval and or Renaissance. I don't know the era. I think it's meant to be medieval. Either way, it didn't gel for me. Granted, I had the same issue with Encanto when I first saw it, and I still have a lot of issues with Encanto, but the music has grown on me, and I do love the music now, so I don't know, maybe I'll change my tune eventually, but as it stands at the time of recording this video, I love This Wish. I'm just kind of meh with the other songs, except for one of them. There's one song that I adamantly don't like, and I don't think I'll ever like it. And it's This Is the Thanks I Get. This is the... I didn't love it when I heard it on TikTok, but I thought maybe with context, the song will be better. With context, the song was not any better. In fact, with context, the song was kind of worse. And don't mistake me, I love a good Disney villain song. It's just that this is not a good Disney villain song. Honestly, King Magnifico deserved better. Which is not a sentence I would say normally. No, he's such a great Disney villain, but I would have much preferred he be a songless character. But that is my only complaint about King Magnifico. He is what we have been asking for since probably Tangled with Mother Gothel, which is a conventional, campy Disney villain who is just unapologetically evil. And what's great is that Disney didn't regress and make him an underdeveloped character by any means. He still has a tragic backstory. He has undeniable motives for the things he's doing, while still being an unredeemable character. It was this beautiful mix of classic Disney villain and contemporary Disney villain, and much like Hannah Montana, we got the best of both worlds. Like, I really think the strength of this movie sits on the shoulders of Magnifico and Asha. By the way, this video is about to get into like pseudo-spoiler territory, so this is the point where you should probably turn away, like if you want zero details about the ending of the film. Okay, you've been warned. So yeah, Asha and Magnifico, they are brilliantly written and brilliantly performed characters, and just what I loved about the movie is that the narrative was driven by this conflict between good and evil. Like one good character, one evil character, but of course I still have notes. So let's talk about the story, because it's kind of a double-edged sword. The narrative was solid. The characters were exceptional, but my one nitpick is that I don't think they did as much with the premise as they could have, and I didn't really care as much as I wanted to. Now, the movie is built on a brilliant concept. What if you moved to a kingdom where a magician promised you the chance to have your wish granted on the condition that you surrender your wish alongside all memory of it? This is an entire kingdom of people who get their memories wiped of their greatest desires the minute they turn 18 and become adults. That's brilliant. And we did see that concept explored a little bit through Asha's friend, Sir Judas, or whatever the betrayer friend's name was. But it was more like his storyline. I felt it was more focused on seeing what happens when someone's wish is used to manipulate them, rather than what I wanted, which was restoring a part of somebody's soul once their wish returned and once their memory returned. Because I think we don't get a ton of payoff from that whole memory loss aspect. Because it's like Asha said, taking somebody's wish away from them and all memory of it is taking away the most beautiful part of themselves. That might have actually been my favorite line in the whole movie. Like, that was gorgeous. Good job, Ariana DeBose. Now, I was expecting somebody's restored wish and restored memory to be a major turning point in the plot, but it didn't really go anywhere. Now, with that aside, I think the narrative setup is great. Like, we understand without a doubt what everyone is fighting for. Kind of. Asha is an exceptional character, and Ariana DeBose brought her to life beautifully. But something is missing, and I think it's the love story. Now, hear me out. I think the love story is the big difference between movies that become Disney classics and movies that are just Disney okays. And the thing with this film is that there isn't a specific love story. I mean, Beauty and the Beast and most of the princess movies, those are all about romantic love. I mean, your heart just starts pitter-pattering when she's like, no, don't die, I love you. Frozen. That is about sisterly love. Your heart starts pitter-pattering when Anna is like, no, Elsa, don't die, I love you. Even if we look at something like Raya and the Last Dragon, which isn't really a conventional love story, and does, on the surface, have a lot of similarities to Wish, Raya and the Last Dragon is, well, maybe unpopular opinion. I think Raya and the Last Dragon is the best Disney princess movie. Again, self-promotion, watch my video on the subject. But in Raya and the Last Dragon, once again, we are getting a story about a girl who loves her community, who loves her kingdom, who wants to serve the people and make sure they're protected and safe. And that's what she's fighting for the entirety of the film, pretty much like Asha. The difference is that Raya's adversary, like the main villain, or the closest thing we get to a villain, is somebody that she has a strong personal connection to. Like, the love story there is a love story of spurned friendship, betrayal, and that's a personal hurdle that Raya has to overcome while she's out saving her kingdom. And I think I was just missing that added piece, that driving love story in Asha's narrative. Now, to clarify, Asha loves everyone. I'm not here to dispute that at all. She loves her grandfather. She loves her mother. She loves her kingdom. She loves her friends. She loves her community. She loves Rosas, or the idea of Rosas. And actually, I was pretty invested in the film for the first half when she was fighting to get her grandfather's wish back. But once she did that, the goal became a little too broad, too vague. And what did King Magnifico teach us? Vague is dangerous. To be honest, for a movie called Wish, I couldn't really tell you what Asha's wish was. I mean, I can quote the song. I can sing the song. If you want me to sing the song, I'll sing the song. No, but I can tell you from the song, her wish was to have something more for us than this. But like, what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? I think Asha is suffering a little bit from Marty McFly syndrome. She's perfect. Like, there's no flaw. There's not a ton of character growth. She's just somebody who identifies a conflict and then fixes it. You know, I found the Queen's narrative arc in this movie far more engaging than Asha's, and far more satisfying because it had that personal love story tied to it. It was like a more personal version of the journey that Asha went on. Like, just imagine if the one person you trusted without question turned out to be the most untrustworthy person ever. And now, it's one thing if that person is your king. It's an entirely different thing if that person is your spouse. And I loved seeing how that discovery affected the Queen. And her decision to become an ally to Asha was great. Also, shout out to whoever commented on my trailer review video that said, I think the Queen is not going to be evil. I think she's going to become an ally of Asha's. Just, you're far better at reading into trailers than I am. You nailed it. Well done. But I'm honestly wondering, like, is there a world where Asha's character and the Queen's character could have been combined? I'm even wondering if that was something in the works. So this is story editor Matt talking now. Imagine this film starts out as a classic princess story where she's going to marry the king, you know, rather than become his apprentice. And then, after she falls in love with him and marries him, that's when she finds out the truth behind his motives, and that's when the narrative actually unfolds. You know, it could have combined the most interesting part of Asha's journey with the most interesting part of the Queen's journey and given us a really good, like, love-driven story. Granted, the downside is that it would have been really creepy if King Chris Pine was going after a 17-year-old Asha, and on the flip side of that, Disney would never make, I almost said middle-aged, would never make a character above the age of 25 their main protagonist. So, like, it just wasn't going to happen. Princesses can be in their 20s, and 30s, and 40s, and 50s, 60s. Princesses, there is no age limit to princesses. Let Asha be a queen. But is Asha a princess? Or is she a fairy godmother? And is this movie meant to unify the universes of all the Disney animated features? Okay, we're here. We made it. Let's do it. Let's talk about this movie and all of its connections to the previous Disney films, specifically Snow White. That is one of the things I find so fascinating about this movie and its relationship to the current Disney fan base. Because it almost feels like this movie was made in part to bait all the Super Carlin's brother wannabe bitches. Hi, it's me, I'm the Super Carlin brother wannabe bitch. To do a video like, hey guys, major fan theory. Is King Magnifico Snow White's evil stepmother's magic mirror? Hey guys, major fan theory. Are Asha's 7 friends the grandparents of Snow White's 7 dwarfs? Hey guys, major fan theory. Is the evil queen from Snow White a descendant of the not evil queen from this movie? Hey guys, major fan theory. Did you notice that all the houses in Rosas looked like the 7 dwarfs' cottage? Well, I guess that's it. There's no fan theory. Low-lying fruit. Am I right? But, I also love it. This whole movie could be taken as a light prequel to Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, without confirming too much, which keeps some of the mystery of that original film alive. You know, and between that and this movie's embrace of a new animation art form, I think it's a beautiful tribute to the legacy of Disney animated movies. It's just so beautiful to me that Wish is tied so strongly to all the films that came before it, while laying the foundation for what I hope is super exciting work to come after it. Once again, is it the best Disney movie? No. Is it the most Disney movie? Yes. And am I excited to see more animated features embrace fairy tales, folklore, and beautiful watercolor-inspired 2D, 3D hybrid animation? 100% yes. So how would I rate this movie? I'd say 8 teacups out of 10. And I'm very excited because King Magnifico is now going to become my go-to Halloween costume, and who knows, it might be the first character I cosplay. Anyway, friends, with that, this concludes yet another episode of Teacup for One. Now let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of Wish, and how many teacups out of 10 would you give it? And if you want to be the first to know when I release more videos talking about Disney, movies, sometimes Shakespeare, sometimes cats, sometimes Funko Pops, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And if you haven't subscribed already, it's so easy. All you have to do is click on my face. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and that's the Teacup for One. This is the thanks I get.